humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada. I hope you all are well. Welcome you all to His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj's daily class. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada.
Both voice Prabhupada, my obeisances.
Let me increase my volume, is very low. Sorry. So today's verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter third, which is the name of the third chapter is the Lord's pastimes out of Vrindavan. And if I'm correct, Maharaj, we're reading third verse today. So I'll share this screen. Yeah, let me share this.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Samahuta Bhishmaka Kanayaye Sri Avarena Bhuyasaya Sam Gandharva Vrityan Misatam Sobhagam Jare Padam Murdni Dahat Suparnaha. Attracted by the beauty and fortune of Rukmini, the daughter of King Bhishmaka, the great princesses and kings assembled to marry her. But Lord Krishna, stepping over the other hopeful candidates, carried her away as his own share, as Garuda carried away nectar. Purport. Princess Rukmini, the daughter of King Bhishmaka, was actually as attractive as fortune itself because she was as valuable as gold, both in color and in value. Since the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is the property of the Supreme Lord, Rukmini was actually meant for Lord Krishna. But Shishupal was selected as her bridegroom by Rukmini's elder brother, although King Bhishmaka wanted his daughter to be married to Krishna. Rukmini invited Krishna to take her away from the clutches of Shishupal. So when the bridegroom Shishupal came there with his party with a desire to marry her, Krishna all of a sudden swept her from the scene, stepping over the heads of all of the other princes, just as Garuda carried away nectar from the hands of the demons. This incident will be clearly explained in the 10th canto. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksa Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Asyatya Desitarne Vancha Kalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pevacha Titanam Bhaganebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this section of the Bhagavatam is Krishna's pastimes outside of Vrindavan, which means Mathura and Dwarka mostly. Here we are in Dwarka. And the principal queen is Rukmini, daughter of King Bhishmaka. She is, as here, she is valuable as gold, both in color and value. In other words, she was a prize amongst all of the great queens. And Rukmi, her brother, had arranged for her marriage to Shishupal. Shishupal was always against Krishna, so it was arranged in such a way as that Shishupal would make Krishna look bad. But Rukmini had a plan. What she did is she sent a message by a messenger to Krishna saying, "This is the situation. Please capture me from the hands of Shishupal and his armies. But Krishna picked up on it. It's a whole pastime is described in the 10th canto, how the messenger appeared and he gave the message that was she wrote a message and handed to Krishna. Krishna understood exactly what to do. Krishna came with his armies because Shishupal and many other kings were also there, and there would be many armies. Baladev was in charge of the armies. And then when Krishna came, he immediately just swooped down and picked her up from the chariot and took off without any fight. And then the kings became, angry and astonished at the same time, and they tried to fight. Baladev had the Yadava army with him, and they pushed back all of these other kings easily. And Krishna took off with his prize, Rukmini. There are many wonderful pastimes that appear in the Bhagavatam describing Krishna's relationship with Rukmini. There were 16,108 queens, and she was the best of all of them. The pastime actually goes back to Vrindavan, where the gopis, and this is not mentioned in the Bhagavatam, but it's mentioned in other scriptures by the Goswamis, where the gopis of Vrindavan, after Krishna had left Vrindavan, were feeling so unhappy. Of course, their love increases in the mood of what is called Vipralamba Bhav. Vipralamba Bhav means the mood of loving in separation, feeling the presence of your lover within your heart and longing to be with that person. And the heart becomes so filled with emotion and that it's at the same time, it's very sweet, and at the same time, it's very painful because the lover is not personally present. So the gopis got to the point where they couldn't live any longer without Krishna. So it mentions they all walked into the Ganges and gave up their lives, but then reappeared again as the queens in Vrindavan. 16,108 gopis appeared as 16,108 queens. Out of those queens, there were 8 principal queens. Satyabhama was one. Satyabhama was actually an incarnation of Radharani, or Radharani appeared as Satyabhama in Dwarka, but because her mood was different, she wasn't the principal queen there. It was Rukmini. Her mood is contrary. Contrary means that she has, recall there's 2 categories of gopis, right-wing gopis and left-wing gopis. The right-wing gopis always are very submissive to Krishna, but the left-wing gopis sometimes argue with Krishna, play tricks on Krishna, get angry at Krishna, and do all other things to enhance the loving relationship in moods of contrariness, such as anger and deceit and so many other things. But the element of love is always there, and so it becomes an expression of love in different moods that appear to be opposite, but they're not. They're just going deeper into the mood of love in a contrary way. Well, of course, when we do that in the material world, it's simply contrary. But in the spiritual world, love is never disturbed. It's enhanced by these different moods. So that's very difficult to understand. Only those who are really fixed in pure devotional service, who are in the mood of Vrindavan, can get a little inkling of that understanding. For us, it's very difficult to understand, but we can understand it through the explanations of the acharyas. And that is our way to get a glimpse into these moods. But Rukmini, she is actually Chandravali. Chandravali was the head of the right-wing gopis in Vrindavan. And Chandravali is actually the younger sister of Radharani. And so she appeared now as Rukmini and Krishna is there. because in Dwarka there is no mood of separation there. The mood is, it's called Vipralamba and Sambhog. Sambhog means loving Krishna, and when Krishna is personally present. So she's the principal queen, and in many wonderful pastimes of Krishna with Rukmini, as will be explained in the 10th canto here. But here, there's a type of marriage that is called, it is a Kshatriya type of marriage where they fight over the girl, the queen, and the one who wins actually takes away the prize, and that is the beautiful princess. And so Krishna somehow or other avoided the fight. He was very tricky. Krishna is tricky. He likes to do things that people can't figure out what he's doing. And he came and swept her away, put her on his chariot. They tried to chase, but Balaram, heading up the Yadava army, pushed back all of these other kings, and there was a great fight. And they were defeated, the other kings, headed by Shishupal. So this is one of the types of marriage. And it says that actually when the fighting gets really fierce, sometimes when the winner who gets the queen, he kills the principal king who was fighting, and he dips his finger into the blood of the his not his forefinger, but the finger next to the small finger. I don't know what that finger, the ring finger, we call it the ring finger. He dips his finger into that, and he takes that blood and he puts it on the forehead of his queen. And that's the origin of these little red dots. Do you see Indian ladies? They wear them. That indicates marriage, like that. So that's the history. Quite romantic, anyway. Those of you who like all of these romantic things, it's interesting where the history of it actually came from. It came from, the Kshatriya Dharma in the Vedic principles, Vedic culture. Of course, Shishupal always had enmity towards Krishna, and later on we'll see how Shishupal is destroyed by Krishna like that. But Rukmini she's, I don't know how to describe, but there's a very nice pastime in this 60th canto of the 10th canto of Rukmini and Krishna, when Krishna actually tries to act in such a way that he says to Rukmini, you should have married Shishupal. He was more qualified. You don't even know my background. I'm only a cowherd boy. I just play with cows. You're a great queen. I'm not even qualified to become your husband. So he's playing tricks on her. He wants to see what is the nature of her love by speaking contrary and see how she will react. He was hoping she would get angry, but she didn't get angry. She just fainted and feeling devastated by his statements. And then Krishna realized, oh my God, I think I didn't plan this one properly. So, and then of course, when he picked her up, it says she was knocked over like a banyan tree, not a banyan tree, a palm tree in a whirlwind. He picked her up and he caressed her and he brought her back to consciousness. And then she started to speak, saying that what woman in the world would take any man that's body is filled with blood, pus, urine, stool, bad airs, and decorated with mustaches and beards. What woman in the world would be so crazy to take a man like that over you? So she turns the whole thing around. It's a very wonderful, loving relationship between Krishna and Rukmini. And Rukmini was there when Sudama came to see Krishna, and his wife asked him to come and see if he can get something because they were so poor from Krishna. Krishna was the school friend of Sudama. Sudama humbly came and he brought some chipped rice, which his wife hung on his lapel. She filled it up with some broken red rice as a gift to Krishna, because that's all they had, really. Even that was hard for them to give it up because they had nothing. And when Krishna saw his old friend, he paid his obeisances and he sat him on his lap and they were just talking. And Rukmini is looking, like, who who's this vagabond that Krishna is showing so much affection towards? He's dressed in raggy clothes with holes in it. But it was Krishna's personal school friend, and they survived a difficult situation that was given to them by their spiritual master. Spiritual master's duty is to test the disciple to see the sincerity of the disciple. So Sandipani Muni, they were both attending the school of Sandipani Muni, and he tested them by telling them to find some firewood in the forest. It was a service they had to do. And when they went out in the forest, they got lost, and then it was a rainstorm, and there was no way they could get back. And they just huddled together, holding each other, keeping each other warm in the forest the whole night. So that was that relationship that Krishna had with Sudama, was very intimate. And of course, the next morning, Sandipani Muni came with the rest of the students, and they found Krishna and Sudama and brought them back to the ashram. That ashram is in Ujjain. There's a place there in Ujjain that is the ashram of Sandipani Muni, where Krishna actually learned 64 arts. He acted as an ordinary student and learned different arts. And you can read about it in the Bhagavatam. There's one whole chapter, or actually a whole purport, where those 64 arts are described. And then if you go to Sandipani Muni's ashram in Ujjain, you'll see on the wall, each one of these arts are displayed in the picture form. And Krishna is receiving instructions from his teachers. It's really quite colorful. I was just told recently now they're making plans to expand that ashram even more and more and make it more and more full with deities and great personalities, and because it's become a very popular holy place for people to come to see where Krishna actually went to school when he was a young boy. So when Rukmini was seeing, how Krishna was showing affection to Sudama, she was shocked. And she's the goddess of fortune, so she has all of the wealth at her disposal. And because of that, and because to please Krishna, she benedicted Sudama with great fortune. And that's a very, very beautiful story in the 10th canto, I think in the 83rd or 84th chapter of the 10th canto, somewhere in that area. So Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan are very outside of Vrindavan are also very numerous. Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan are more numerous in total, but in the Bhagavatam you hear many of the pastimes of Krishna in Dwarka, Krishna in Mathura, and Krishna traveling back and forth between these different places. And Krishna came back to Vrindavan 2 times during the time of his appearance on the earth. He came twice back to Vrindavan. So these pastimes of the Lord, they actually endear us to the Lord even more. When we hear about Krishna, when we get to see how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the source of all existence, how he enjoys both in the spiritual world and in the material world. He's inviting us to take part in his enjoyment by qualifying ourselves to go back home, back to the spiritual world. But even while we're here in the material world, we can also get a taste of that enjoyment when we hear and chant the glories of these pastimes of the Lord. The more you learn about Krishna, the more you become attracted to Krishna, because Krishna's qualities are so wonderful and they're so amazing. Although the qualities are very similar to the qualities of the living entities in the material world, they're not the same, because Krishna takes those qualities to a level of how he uses those qualities to give pleasure to his devotees, to give pleasure to just living entities in general, and to enjoy within himself. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and everything he does is done for transcendental happiness. Even when he kills demons, when he's fighting against Shishupal and the armies or whatever, he's enjoying it. He's enjoying it, and he's asking and he's encouraging us through the spiritual master to take part in these activities by hearing, reading, and even going deeper, because each one of these pastimes, you get the storyline, but behind the storyline, there's deeper and deeper meaning of what is actually happening and why Krishna is doing what he's doing and what is the mood, how he interacts with his devotees. It becomes a whole life of just absorbing oneself in Krishna in different ways, because Krishna is the source of everything. So we can't exhaust the qualities, the activities, the pastimes, the characteristics, the forms, the names of Krishna. It's unlimited. It's unlimited. And it's an ocean of transcendental happiness like that. We like to read books, but let's read Srimad Bhagavatam or the books by the Goswamis that describe Krishna in his different leelas. These have been given to us by the acharyas. They take time to write these books for our benefit, to preach Krishna consciousness to the conditioned souls and to attract the conditioned souls to Krishna. That is their service to Krishna. So take advantage of this great treasure like that. And of course, everything culminates in chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Today is the Ekadasi day, at least where I am in Croatia. So today we're taking advantage of this day by chanting extra rounds. The holy name is the gold mine of treasure. It's just unlimitedly full of Krishna's qualities, names, forms, pastimes. We give it, if we just take some time and really focus on chanting the holy name, then we will understand the beauty of this Krishna consciousness and hear about his pastimes also, and also inspire others to do the same. In this way, our life becomes transcendental, and we don't have to worry about struggling in this material world. Those who neglect Krishna and want to make a situation in this world separate from Krishna, they simply struggle. That's all. And their struggle leads ultimately to disappointment, frustration, and defeat, because that is the nature of material life. One cannot be successful in material life because it is designed in such a way as to frustrate one's attempt to be happy here, as a means to inspire us to stop doing it and look for happiness where it really is, within Krishna, within our relationship to Krishna. And it's all centered around hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord and taking time to serve Krishna by serving Krishna's devotees. Serving Krishna's devotees is also serving Krishna in the best possible way. Now, this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. It's a whole lifetime of consciousness of something that is way beyond our ability to understand, but it is full of transcendental happiness, nectar, and realization. And then we can also see how this material world works, how to avoid getting trapped by this material energy, how we are protected by Krishna so many ways. Like yesterday, I was traveling all day, and the day before, I was traveling all day. And I just saw how Krishna was helping me in my travels. He was sending people to assist me. And it was just, people were just appearing and helping me carry bags or directing me to where I needed to go. It was just like one thing after another. And it was Krishna in the hearts of these living entities. So when we surrender to Krishna and we live to serve Krishna, Krishna takes care of you 100%, not 99.9, 100%. He does it through the energies, he does it directly, but he does it. Takes care of his devotees, and he prevents the devotees from getting, what we say, entangled in activities that lead us to difficulty, that is material entanglement. So here's the formula: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smarnam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Krishna Smarnam. Hear and chant the glories of the Lord. And each one of these pastimes are so, you can write a book about each one. They're so deep in transcendental meaning, philosophy, and just full of realization of Krishna and our relationship with him. Okay, so we'll stop here.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. It was so beautiful and nectarian pastime. You have explained it so nicely. And Mother Rukmani's pastime is my favorite pastime. I just love to hear how she fall in love with Krishna just by hearing, not just by hearing Krishna Katha. So devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realizations, please unmute yourself and ask. You can also type it in the chat and I can read it for you. It'll be nice to have your cameras on, if possible, please. Thank you. Yes, let's see if there are any questions. We'll wait for a few seconds.
We can get at least 25 cameras. So far, 21. No, we have 16. I'm sorry. Now we got 17. Let's see. Slow today. 18. We're getting there. Okay. Everyone's so shy. Shy is good.
Yes, Devi Mataji, please go ahead.
Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Again, I cannot help thinking how wonderful Krishna is, Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's leelas, and even today continuing in this plane of material existence by sending so many people to help you at different points in your journey. That is so heartwarming for me to hear. And really, how Krishna takes care of his devotees. It's just such a blessing to just talk about Krishna, to hear about Krishna is such a great blessing. And I am uh, at my happiest when I'm talking about Krishna. I love to preach by your mercy, and I just long for the opportunities to talk more about Krishna. Thank you so much for your mercy on me, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And the glories of Krishna and his devotees are as deep as the unlimited causal ocean. The oceans on this planet are small. They're like little puddles compared to the causal ocean. Causal ocean is the ocean that is the bottom of the universe. It's so vast, though no one, it's immeasurable. Krishna's qualities, forms, names, pastimes are as unlimited as that same ocean, even more so. And then Krishna is there for everybody. If you like adventure, you like romance, you like humor, whatever you like, you can find it in Krishna. Any other questions?
Yes, Amritana Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, I always wonder when you're talking about the pastimes of Krishna with his devotees, and they are definitely relishable, no doubt in that. But they are more relishable when we are in person. I mean, within the association of devotees and in with the person Bhagavatas, they are all the more relishable because if we take the example of just Janmashtami, every time on Janmashtami, I think the 4.9 of Bhagavad Gita, the Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, that shloka is repeatedly discussed. But at every Janmashtami, I always wonder what is new in this shloka this year now, and I always hear something new again every year from that shloka. So it is always so relishable when it is in association with devotees. So this is one experience I wanted to share. And one question is not from me, but from Ruhan, my son. He just questioned me this morning, and he was questioning me that the living entities, uh, are they fixed in amount, or they just are unlimited? They just keep coming out of uh, the Supreme Lord, or are they fixed in amount?
Well, when you talk about spirit, you talk about not unlimited. The spirit can expand unlimitedly. So is Krishna expanding into more living entities? It's if you use the logic of spiritual nomenclature or spiritual characteristics, you would say yes. That means nothing, even Krishna is becoming greater. Krishna is great, but his greatness is not static. It keeps becoming even more and more greater. So using philosophical understanding, you could say, yes, the living entities are also manifesting. But you have to understand one thing. Nothing is created. In the spiritual world, everything exists. So nothing is created. Nothing ends. So the living entities are never created, nor are they, what we say, they don't end at any particular time. You don't get some new living entities appearing.
Hmm. So they are unlimited also, and they can't be created also.
No, they can't be created. They're unlimited. Creation, the word created is a material terminology. Nothing in the spiritual world is created. Everything expands.
Mhm.
You can't understand that using material logic and reasoning. It's not possible because we think in terms of beginning and end, and therefore we're limited in our understanding.
Mm.
Just like we said, we talk Krishna and Balaram expands from Krishna, and then Balaram expands into the Chaturvyuha, and the Chaturvyuha expands into Narayan, and Narayan expands into the second Chaturvyuha, and then the second Chaturvyuha, and then Sankarshan expands into Mahavishnu, and then Mahavishnu begins. So it seems like one is coming from another, but each one of them are eternal.
Expanding.
Yeah, so it's an expansion for Leela or for function. That's all.
Right.
Nothing in the spiritual world is created, nothing ends. But you can't, I mean, how are you going to, all you can do is understand the nature of spirit. Spirit means no beginning, no end. Krishna says, never was there a time that I did not exist, nor you, though all these kings, nor in the future, so any of us be to be. You are just as eternal as Krishna is. You've been around a long time. But in this body, it's just one little speck of a time element, which is so small you can't measure it. So yeah, so we are eternal. Krishna is eternal. All living entities are eternal.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. To certain extent, I think I could understand, but with my limited senses, I can't understand it completely.
You,
Yeah,
you,
but
you can
thank
only,
you.
you can only understand it through the principle of spirit, the nature of.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the material world, everything is created and ends. Spiritual world, nothing is created, nothing ends.
Right. Yes. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank
Hari.
you, Pranam Mataji. Prasiddha Chaitanya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and your lotus feet. Guru Maharaj, when you are telling about your experiences during your journey, that you are telling in every moment Krishna is sending someone to help you. So I was realizing that in the Prabhupada case also, nobody was there, and Prabhupada, uh, matlab by on the basis of uh, his spiritual master instruction, he went to uh, out of India, and he did the teaching and everything. And this movement has been in such a way that we are getting association a spiritual guru like you. So Guru Maharaj, my question is, in when we are in the devotional life, we have to face challenges. In the case of Rukmini Maharani, she had also faced the challenges, and it was said that first love letter written by Rukmini Maharani to Lord Krishna. So she has to face so many problems. So in our case, we are listening so many things, we are getting your association, but somehow our material comfort is in a such way that somehow our advancement is not happening in the devotional service. I personally think. And in your case, you are telling in every moment, you are telling in every step Krishna is helping you. So how can we increase our devotional and our surrenderness to toward Krishna and for spiritual guru?
Don't expect Krishna to help you, though. It's not our program to ask Krishna for service. But that's just what he does. That's him. He cannot help you if he wants to by neglecting you. And that's another way of helping you. Don't look at the thing, spiritual things in terms of material comparisons. No, it's not the same. For one who is fully surrendered to Krishna, Krishna is with them every moment. And he says in the Bhagavad Gita, I carry what you lack, I preserve what you have. There's nothing lacking for a devotee. But look, I mean, Prabhupada had to, um, you know, cross the ocean, get seasick, get 2 heart attacks. Does that mean Krishna neglected him? No.
No,
Means he wanted to show the glories of this great personality that he was willing to accept any situation in order to preach Krishna consciousness. I got stuck in a 23-hour traffic jam coming from Mumbai, from Pune to Mumbai. And Krishna could have told me ahead of time, don't go. And that was a possibility, but he didn't. And while I was on the trip, we had many alternatives to avoid it, but we never did because Krishna didn't Krishna kept pointing us in the same direction that the calamity was happening. So you might say, what happened? Did he neglect you? No, he was doing something to purify us, to give us some lessons, to give some mercy, or to give us a situation where we could preach to others. It's just you can't understand the mind of God. It's not possible. If you could, you would be as good as he was. But for his devotee, he says, Kontiya pratijani hina me bhakta pranashyati. And he always takes care of his devotees. Don't worry about it. Even if he has to put you at the verge of death, he still takes care of you.
Like Parikshit Maharaj, isn't it, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, Parikshit Maharaj. So many examples.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Prasiddhi Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, one question that I submitted, that it was said that first love letter written by Rukmani Maharaj to Lord Krishna, and what was there in the letter? I don't know what he wrote.
What Rukmini wrote to Krishna?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, that letter is mentioned. You can read it in the Bhagavatam in the chapter that describes his pastime.
Okay.
It's a very beautiful letter. Krishna hears it from the messenger as when the messenger comes and reads it to Krishna. So find that place in the Bhagavatam and you can hear what she wrote.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you. Thanks,
yes.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Guru.
Shrimati Mataji, please go ahead.
But
Thank you.
one thing I should say, don't think you can do anything you want and then Krishna will protect you. Forget that. You have to behave properly. If you start trying to flaunt material nature, then you'll get slapped. So don't think, well, Krishna didn't protect me. No, you were so stupid. You did you acted wrongly. So Krishna was still protecting you by not giving you the full force of the reaction you should have got. But still, we always have to, devotees have to behave properly according to, we can't try to think, well, I'm a devotee, I can, I don't have to follow the laws of material nature. We should be very careful.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Shri Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, when I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, verse number 11, in that we had a discussion on Wednesday, and in that we got a doubt about one statement Srila Prabhupada mentioned here. He's saying above all the other transcendentalists and materialists and yogis and all, devotees are the above them or the devotees of the Lord, who neither aspire to enjoy the material world nor desire to get out of it. So I heard in many classes that we usually devotees aspire to get out of the material world because there is nothing to do here. We just have to simply do our devotion. And
It's not Prabhupada's giving us the formula how to get out. Don't try to get out and don't try to enjoy it. Just get yourself absorbed in service.
so we should not think about getting out of it, or just simply depend on Krishna wherever he wants us to be.
That's the highest.
Okay.
But it all comes by way of following the process of bhakti, not by just desiring to get out. What Prabhupada's saying there is engage in a devotee is just fixed in devotional service, not thinking of renunciation nor thinking of liberation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very much.
Yeah.
So it is like a stage-wise, Gurmas. First, we may think that we have to get out of the material world. Then maybe after later stage of bhakti, when we mature, then we may get that idea of depending more on Krishna, like whatever he decides.
I didn't understand your question.
So in the initial stages of bhakti, we may think that, okay, I have to get out of this material world. But in the later stages of bhakti, when our devotion grows and when we more depend on Krishna, then our thinking may change that whatever Krishna desires, that will happen.
Yeah, that's the progression.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay, very much. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
go
you,
for the
Shiva.
later stages.
It's good much. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari.
Thank you, Shrimati Mataji. Shiv Kumar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, I also have one personal experience that I wanted to share, Maharaj, that I do see in my experience in some of the cases where uh, Krishna is really helping. Like, for example, when I had some work in some government office, there are certain places where they try to kind of um,
Cheat
uh,
you.
put put you in some difficulty and see how we can extract money and things like that, Maharaj. But from some of my recent experience, even some of my friends were surprised that they were actually helping me to get the work done quickly, not expecting any money and things like that, Maharaj. So that was really surprising for me, a different experience to what I had quite some time back. So there, in certain areas, it's really very evident that Krishna is actually helping Maharaj. But as you said, in certain cases where he puts us into difficulty to teach some lesson, to kind of keep us purified, get us purified, and things like that.
It's not that he puts you in a difficulty. You sometimes get in difficulty by your
Okay.
own choice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. When you're engaged in devotional service, then he may put you in difficulty. But when you're engaged in some material activity, you put yourself into difficulty.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay.
And he also helps you then too, but
Hmm.
sometimes not the way you want it. When you play with the material energy, you know you're going to be also affected by what happens.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But as soon as you take shelter of Krishna, then you can at least push back the effects of that situation.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, one question I had, Maharaj.
It's a nice story. You want to hear a story?
Yes, yes, please.
Satyabhama likes stories. So there was one man, he was a real devotee of God. He was living in a village, and the village, it started to rain. And so it was raining, it started to flood. So people were being evacuated from the village. So he said he wasn't going to leave. He said, I'm going to simply depend on God. So he stayed, but the water kept coming. Finally, they came in the boat to pick him up and to take him out. He said, no, no, I'm going to depend on God. He refused the boat. The water kept coming, and he started climbing higher up to on his house. Now he's on the roof, and the water's coming higher, higher, higher. So they send a helicopter and to pick him up, and he says, no, I'm just going to depend on God. So the helicopter leaves, and after some time, the water comes up, and he drowns and he dies. And then later he meets God. He said, God, well, you didn't save me. God, God said, yeah, I sent a boat. I sent a helicopter.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
So
Thank
you
you.
to use your intelligence how to deal with situations. Depend on Krishna.
Thank you, Shivkumar Prabhu. Maharaj, there is a question from Anand Gaurav Prabhu. I'll read it. If
Mataji,
we,
sorry. Mataji, one question I had. Mataji, sorry.
okay, you have one more question. Okay, go on.
So Maharaj, just one question I had, Maharaj. Sometime back, I think few times we have discussed this in the classes. Like if somebody is not favorable for bhakti and uh, um, very not favorable, we talked about in terms of some negative energy from them, Maharaj, that might affect our and things like that. So I just wanted to understand, Maharaj, when we say that negative energy, is that the three modes? For example, tamasic nature is what we are referring as negative energy, or something different to the modes, Maharaj?
Could be any of the modes.
Okay.
Yeah. But if there's somebody who has negative energy, better to distance yourself from that person. Get away from it. If you can't, then somehow or other you have to protect yourself by absorbing yourself in Krishna. That happened to me yesterday. We were sitting on we're taking a bus to go to the airplane from the terminal to the bus. So we got on, the bus was really crowded. I'm squeezed in there by the window, and people are talking and doing whatever they're doing. And the bus, I mean, it must have took 20 minutes just to get to the airplane from the terminal. This is in Frankfurt, Germany. The terminal was so big. It's like a city almost. So I was thinking, so I just started to sing. And I started to chant, Nava Ghodavaram Nava Pushpasaram Nava Hemavyutam. And I was just singing, and I pretty much got out of the atmosphere I was in. I was singing kind of softly so people wouldn't think I was, trying to interfere with their Maya. But I was singing very softly, and I entered another consciousness. And everybody was getting a little disturbed. The bus was taking so long. And then when it got to the airplane, it took another 10 minutes before they opened the doors and let us. It's like if you travel in the material world, you'll see how dysfunctional things are becoming. It's so dysfunctional. People can't manage anymore. Things are just like topsy-turvy. Because they've created this very complex network of how to manipulate the material energy to facilitate whatever they're trying to do. And it doesn't always work. Most of the time, it doesn't work. So, yeah. So, when you find yourself in these situations where you're surrounded by negativity or even difficulty, take shelter of Krishna. If we practice, taking shelter of Krishna becomes easy when these situations come. If we don't practice, then we get disturbed by the situation rather than taking shelter.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Shivakumar Prabhu. Rashi Bhare Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept
Hey.
my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru
Sorry,
Maharaj,
I missed you at the airport.
no, it's fine, Guru Maharaj. I was late. I should have come on time. My question is, I started reading Nectar of Devotion, and the first chapter talks about 5 kinds of liberation. And in those 5 kinds, there are like liberation, which includes going back, uh, being in God in the same abode, enjoying same opulences as Lord, being companion of Lord. So isn't it which we look after? We also want to go back home, back to Godhead, but but there says that we don't look for these kinds of liberation. We look for pure devotional service. But we also say that we want to go back home, back to Godhead. We want to be companion of Krishna.
Yeah. You can keep that desire. Yes, I want to go back to Godhead. I want to be a associate of Krishna. But how are you going to do it? By pure devotional service. So there's where you focus. You focus on the service, you focus on the activity. Yeah, it's natural to want to get out of this material world. It's a strange place. There was a book that was written many years ago called Stranger in a Strange Land. I don't know if anybody remembers that book. Stranger in a Strange Land. That's devotees. We're strangers in this land of strange things. And if it's not strange to you, you're in trouble. And you're one of them. So don't become one of them. The logic that governs the material world is completely opposite the logic that governs the spiritual activities. Completely opposite. Yeah, keep that in your heart, but then again, you have to work to make it happen. And that working is develop your love for Krishna by serving Krishna according to how best you can serve, according to the directions of the spiritual master, according to the directions of the accepted authorities. Yeah.
Thank you, Shivare Prabhu, Rashi Bhare Prabhu. I hope that answers the
Thank you so much,
question.
Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we have another question, and we're just above 1 hour, so we'll try and conclude after this question. So this is from Anand Gora Prabhu Maharaj, and he's asking, if Rukmani is identified with Chandravali, then why do we worship Rukmani Dwarkadish? As Gaudiyas, we understand through pastimes such as Raghunath Das Thakur's buttermilk pastime that our internal orientation is toward Chandravali. If that is the case, how do we reconcile this with the worship of Rukmani Dwarkadish? And if we say that everyone is ultimately Radharani, then do the distinct moods and pastimes of different deities lose their specific meaning and purpose? After all, we do not cultivate Lakshmi Narayan Bhav or Dwarka Bhav as our ideal. We specifically hanker for Vrindavan Bhav. Although those same deities are worshipped in Lakshmi Narayan Bhav in awe and reverence, till now, I learned through classes that Rukmani Devi is an expansion of Srimati Radharani anyway. I have also read that Chandravali is Radharani, but then the moods are different and we worship different deities because of their moods and bhavas.
Well, there's some mistakes in that statement there. Rukmini is Chandravali. She's not Radharani. Satyabhama is Radharani, come again in Dwarka to associate with Krishna when due to the separation. But still, the mood is different. So these are Vrindavan Leelas that manifest themselves in Dwarka. Vrindavan is the pinnacle of all of the Leelas, and they expand into the Mathura and Dwarka Leelas, where there are elements of Vrindavan in those Leelas, but there's a different mood. Aishwarya is there in Dwarka.
But then Guru Maharaj, why do we worship Rukmini Dwarkadesh? That's the case.
You have some problem with that? Why not?
I thought we are not supposed to worship Chandravali. So
Well, in our temple in Los Angeles, the deities are Rukmini Dwarkadesh. And that was the place where Prabhupada made his headquarters in the United States.
yes, Guru Maharaj. So how do we understand?
It's still Krishna. And Radharani expanded into Dwarkadish and Rukmini. But one thing you can understand is even when you're worshiping Radha Krishna deities, you're not worshiping Radha Krishna deities. You're worshiping Lakshmi Narayan, because Radha and Krishna cannot be worshipped in Aishwarya Bhav. But all of our deity worship is in Aishwarya Bhav. Only when you get to spontaneous devotional service, when you adopt the mood of Raganuga Bhakti, will you be able to see those same deities as Radha and Krishna. You can see them now as Radha and Krishna, but the mood is, you can't, Prabhupada said, don't try to jump on the shoulders of the deity and play with Krishna like the cowherd boys do. You can't do that, although that's Krishna there. We're in our mood of worship, we are worshiping in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. So when they manifest as Lakshmi Narayan or Rukmini Dwarkadish, what's the problem? It's the same person manifested in the actual mood of worship. But Prabhupada said only when you come to that stage where you see Radha and Krishna as Radha and Krishna. But now we have to approach the Lord in a mood of Aishwarya Bhav, or a mood of submissive to the Lord. We can't develop these higher rasas in deity worship. It doesn't, it'll be rasa basa. Although you may see the deity in the mood of Vrindavan, but the worship is still within the mood of Aishwarya or Dwarka or Mathura. Dwarka mostly. Krishna Prabhupada installed those deities and he named them Rukmini Dwarkadish.
Thank you, Maharaj. Anand Gaurav Prabhu, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, yes.
I can't hear you, Nand. Are
We
you there?
can't hear you, Anand Gaurav Prabhu.
Yes, yes, Guru Maharaj, it answers my question. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
It requires some more explanation, because at different levels of worship, the mood changes. But since you asked a general question, I gave you a general answer.
So, Guru Maharaj, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, Guru.
Shri Devi Mataji, you have a question?
Yes, please. Guru Maharaj, my obeisances again. A little bit in continuation of Anand Gaurav's question and your answer, that we are now worshipping Radha Krishna in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan when we offer our worship. But in this age of Kali, we cannot approach Radha Krishna. It is only through worship of God Nitai. And so when we are approaching God Nitai, uh, at least my understanding is our mood is of service and surrender and humility, and not so much Aishwarya Bhav. Is my understanding correct?
There's still, it's not Gaur Nitai, it's just Gauranga. Don't bring Nitai into this one. It's because Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna in one. So he's in that mood of Vrindavan. Yeah, you can't approach Radha and Krishna in this age unless you go through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unless you worship, the Panchatattva. Unless you chant the holy names of the Lord. And you go to the stage, you go through the process of when you go beyond Vaidhi Bhakti, and you qualify yourself to worship in the mood of, Sanatan Bhakti, not Sanatan Bhakti, but spontaneous devotional service. Radha and Krishna is only on spontaneous devotional service, only.
So even we are worshipping Panchatattva in the same mood of Aishwarya, knowing that Gauranga is none other than Radha Krishna.
Yeah, that's your
Okay.
worship.
And only when we get to Raganuga Bhakti
But
will
it's
we be.
it's an individual thing. As the Prabhupada said, as you make progress, you'll see that same deity as Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. You'll see them in that mood. And you may also worship them in that mood, but not in the form of deity worship. That mood takes place within your own heart. Because there's an altar there on the heart. And that's where you really worship the Lord, in your heart. The external manifestations is just to awaken that love in your heart. But real worship is in the heart. So then you worship, when you see the deity, you actually may even, if you come to purified consciousness, you can see Radha and Krishna on the altar performing their pastimes. But that's such a very elevated stage. It's consciousness that changes. But when we talk about deities, it's always in Aishwarya Bhav. But then you have examples, just like you had Vamsivata, or you had, who was it? Vamsivat. He carried his Gornitai deities with him, and he would take them and bathe them in the river by pushing him in the water. And, he had spontaneous love for Gaur-Nitai. So he wasn't worshiping them in the mood of Aishwarya Bha. He was seeing them, he was seeing Gaur-Nitai as Krishna Balaram. Consciousness. But you can't, and we're talking about worship. So when it comes to worship, for us, awe and reverence is there. But when you come to spontaneous devotional service, then that worship will take place in your heart. And then you'll start thinking of Krishna's pastimes in your heart. You'll also start to feel the presence of Krishna within your heart as he manifests his pastimes. The Goswamis were absorbed in seeing Krishna within their heart and mind as they were writing their books. They were seeing Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. Now, these are very elevated stages of devotional service. We have to follow the process. That's all. To get to that stage.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. My obeisances.
But you may also have glimpses of that. Just like when you're in kirtan, sometimes you get so ecstatic, you just can't control yourself. And that's an example of tasting that higher consciousness through the holy name as the medium for awakening that love within the heart. Bhakti is not easy to explain, nor is it easy to practice. But if you're serious and you're determined, you can move through these different stages and come to pure love of God. That's the goal. Pure love of God means you're thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day. You can't stop thinking of Krishna. And nor do you even want to stop thinking of Krishna. Even if you're doing other things, it doesn't matter. You're still thinking of Krishna. You're remembering his pastimes. You're remembering his qualities. You're remembering his name. So many things. And then when you're on
Yes,
these,
Guru Maharaj.
when you see the deity, it's not like you're seeing a deity, you're seeing Krishna. It's no longer just a deity, it's Krishna.
Mhm. Yes, Guru Maharaj. The deities of the Lord, that darshan is so wonderful. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, the Shringar Arti of the Lord, the Darshan Arti, is a festival for the eyes. And it truly is.
Yeah, the eyes will be the means to connect with the heart. Pratinam nahi tumi saksar virenja nandan. What does that mean? I don't know the translation.
You're not just an idol, you are Brajendra Nandana himself.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Devi Mataji. So we have already crossed, we have almost 1 hour, 20 minutes. So Daria Mataji, is that okay if you can ask a question tomorrow? We would like to close the session now.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session today. And I think we should meditate today on such a Ekadashi day. We've got a blissful and nectarian class. And meditate on the pastimes of Srimati Rukmani Devi.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you, everyone, tomorrow for more of Krishna's pastimes outside of Vrindavan.
It's so wonderful to hear from you again, Guru Maharaj. The 2 days, 3 days absence from you becomes very difficult.
Well, you didn't have any difficulty yesterday. You were okay. You told me how wonderful it was that I was not there and you were there.
No, Guru Maharaj. That's not what I meant. I said, by your mercy, it was so wonderful to speak about Krishna. That's all. But that's not what I need. No, not like that, Guru Maharaj. It's not like that.
Yeah, but for you to do that, I have to be not there. So there's many meanings to a purport. Anyway, I'm sure you gave a good class anyway. That's what it seems like it happened. Okay, see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
We're only 4 days away from Gaur Purnima. So prepare your mind and heart and hear about Lord Chaitanya now. Don't wait to the Gaur Purnima day. Devotees 1 month before Lord Gaur Purnima, they sing this song. Nava Ghauravaram Nava Pushpasaram Namaheva Vitam Navritsat Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram. It's called the Sachi Sutta Astakam. Look it up and sing that song. It's so beautiful. Prepares your mind, heart, and your life for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Beautiful song. Of course, there's other songs you could also sing, but that one we adopt in our temples. And they do it a month before Gaur Purnimas just to get everyone ready for the mood of, Gaur Purnima. Lord Chaitanya is an ocean of transcendental nectar, happiness, joy, unlimited. Okay, so thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.